So yeah, now it's time to go outside on the balcony and do some gardening. Come on. So over here we have some succulents that need to go into their new home. We got a fancy new pot, and we've been doing some ghetto gardening out here, i.e. using this old screen door and using some old screens to provide shade for our plants who were, well, they were toasting in the sun real tough because of, there being nothing up above but harsh sunlight and that palm tree, the occasional raven or whatever. So we're just gonna use our trusty grip gloves and repot the succulents. Oh, and I also have some really cute pots that I got at Goodwill down by USC that, oh, they were so cheap and so cute. So we'll put some herbs or something in there as soon as we can, but here we are. Because you don't want to do what? You don't ever want to stop believing. So don't stop believing. Here we go. But yeah, welcome to Don't Stop Believing. We're here to do some gardening out here on the terrace, but look at these adorable pots that I got at Goodwill for the low price of $2.99 a piece. I got this lilac one, this green one, and also a black one, but I also got this incredibly fancy kind of longish pot that comes in 2 pieces, and it's from a fancy brand which is called Smith Hawken. And apparently there's a story about Smith Hawken having been a high-end gardening brand that then got purchased by some corporation and maybe a hedge fund, which wasn't necessarily good for the product or for the company. But what's great is that we were able to get it for a couple of dollars at Goodwill, help the people at Goodwill, and now we can take our succulents. The key is to let them dry out before you try to take them out of their pots. I put some soil and some rocks into this pot already and kind of dampened it so it wouldn't blow away. But let's see if we can be aesthetic about, lining these babies up. Have one that fell out of its pot already and kind of is in pieces, but I've been watering it with the intention of taking it out of Mr. Plastic bag and putting it into a proper pot. So, some of these succulents look more like roses, some of them are pointier, but all of them are great. They're great for low water conditions and to not waste a lot of water on your lawn and garden here in California, where there's often fires and there's often droughts, and it's a very serious situation. When I first visited California to do posts on an HBO show, I really almost didn't believe that you would be driving down the freeway going to a meeting or to work and that people would just drive when there was fire. Like it just seemed like a disaster movie. But kind of people are very accustomed to it. Apparently among tribes native to this area, they would do seasonal burns just to get rid of undergrowth that could go up in flames. And when land left indigenous people, then those practices went out the window, and that's how you got all of these crazy fires, because people aren't tending to these lands the way they need to be tended to. You can't take care of desert the way you might take care of some sort of foresty area in Europe. So there's a just like pilgrims were able to learn about growing corn and beans and squash together because they're complementary crops, there's a kind of like husbandry of the local environment that is safer for everyone, including animals, that, you know, everyone gets displaced when things burn. And, you know, if you've ever shopped for real estate in California, you'll see these incredible. Yeah, in California, people sometimes, you know, have their houses burned to the ground because embers fly into the tall palm trees. And then, you know, they try to unload those properties as if that isn't what's going to happen to the next resident, just based on global warming and how dry the area is here. So we've arranged our succulents like so. We're going to give it some water and have these guys settle in, and then we will add some more dirt in a day or so, just to kind of give them a chance to settle in. But I tried to like space them out and make them a little bit decorative. But yeah, no, I'm really happy about that. And I'm also really happy about this watering can. One of the neighbors, I guess, was moving and left this in the free area in the lobby, but it is aluminum with copper accents and so light. Even if it's filled with water, it's super light. So, you know, that's great. And let's take a look at Mr. Banana Plant and how he's doing in his new also thrifted pot. Yeah, so Mr. Banana Plant seems to be vibing in his new pot. You know, his neighbor, the aloe plant, we may use this small little clay guy to repot these vines that are growing on our screen door. I know, forgive me, it's so ghetto, but you know, the plants were toasting, and I figured that was a way to allow wind flow, but also cut down some of the harshness of the sun that was toasting Mr. Banana Plant's leaves, because you know, there were taller fronds that just toasted in the hot sun. Anything too occlusive like a tarp would blow away, and possibly be dangerous. But you know, the spider and slug population seems to have settled down. But look how cool this flower pot gives, this sort of like rain action, which is so cool.